What was your purpose of transitioning from six figures sales to your thing? How did you decide and start? Did you write a business plan and marketing plan, etc.? No, I didn't. I was an idiot. And I admit that. Because what happens, a good question, Jay, is it's not that I did have a plan. I just know I didn't want to do that anymore, right? And I kind of knew what I wanted to do. And for me, when you go into the speaking world, it's hard to write a business plan for going into a speaking business or being a consultant. What we did do, like leading up to that, because I was telling my wife, I'm getting tired, right? I'm getting tired of doing this. And so one of the things we started doing is socking a little money away. Just a little money, put a little money away. And so when the first 6 months, remember I said May 9th I left, and then the rest of the year, and I only made $17,000, we had a little money to draw from. But that's when I really had to pick up my marketing game. Remember I said you're not in the sales business, you're in the marketing business first. Any business you're in the marketing business first, because if nobody knows you exist, it doesn't matter. And so I had to really up my game. So the short answer is we had a little bit of money put to the side, right? And in the spirit of full disclosure, about 3 years into my speaking career, it still was doing this. It was still wonky, right? And then I got an offer to be CEO of a company, right? And I did that for a year and a half. And then we sold the company and I went right back to speaking again. So I always tell people, look, if you got to go back, if you start something and it doesn't work out and you got to go back and get a job just to make money so you can continue with your dream, then do it. There's nothing wrong with that. No shame in your game. In this case, my game, man. That's exactly what I did. I did whatever I had to do, man, to do whatever I wanted to do. Does that make sense? You just have to keep doing it. You just have to keep trying it. What if your strategy now is you've come to the conclusion, look, we're going to market right now. We're in this pandemic situation. And by the way, this is not going to be done by the end of the year. And this is going to be the next. I personally think we're not going to get back to anything that resembles a new normal till 2022, not 21. 21 is still going to be a recovery year, right? The rest of the year is going to be tough. 21 is going to be the recovery year. Maybe in 22, we get back to something normal, right? So if that's the case, what's happening with our clients today? Our clients are struggling, right? And a lot of them come to you and says, can you give me better pricing? Can you give me better pricing? And too often we're too quick to give better pricing, but maybe we can do something else. What if we begin to segment our clients and then come up with ways to offer them different levels of services and then use that instead of giving discount? Let me say that again. What if we have 3 tiers of services that we give our different customers, and then instead of giving price discounts, what we do is we give different level of services. For example, if we have a tier 1 client, now we call the tier 1 clients, let's call them valuable. Would you agree? They're valuable, right? They're buying, they're paying. And how do you know? Because tier 1 clients are paying their bills. They're paying on time, right? They're taking care of business. It's almost like business as usual. They're paying their bills. Tier 2, we discovered these people, I'll use the phrase, these folks are viable, which means they're right in the middle. They're struggling. They're kind of trying to get their legs on them. They're trying to, again, go for it. And by the way, the way I highlighted this was green is always these guys, just like a stoplight, right? These guys, caution, proceed with caution. Give them the yellow light, right? And then we have, if you look at tier 3, I'm going to call these guys vulnerable, which means what? Very shaky. That was the tier 3. These are the people that are going to struggle. And so what type of behaviors do they exhibit? You can actually see it. Tier 1 people are going to pay on time. Tier 2 folks are going to ask you for, let's say, deferred payment. They're going to ask you for, maybe instead of net 30, pay in 30 days. Can I have net 60, pay in 2 months? Net 90, pay in 3 months, right? And then the vulnerable people, these are people who probably maybe stop paying or maybe cancel orders, right? So now we have 3 different types of clients. So then what we should start thinking about is how do we, in order to retain the best of the best, because I want to focus, if this was my business, I'm focusing where? I want that. That's where I would focus my time. So how would I do that? From a business owner perspective, how would I do that? Because again, T1, T2, T3. And somebody jotted T3, too much nagging, always asking for more. So Rami Saleh says basically T3, these are people who will always complain about pricing, will always ask for more, and really wear you down. You're absolutely right. Who was the guy that said, was it the guy from GE? What's his name? That every year he fires the bottom 5% of his clients because all they do is suck out resources. You ever have those clients? Give me a one if you know what I'm talking about. You ever have those clients that they shop on price, they argue with you, they negotiate with you, and then you finally accept a deal, and then they turn out to be the worst nightmare in the world, right? Hard to deal with, always demanding, always wanting more, always wanting another break, whatever it may be. If you know what I'm talking about, give me a one on that one, because I know what those are. So back to this. We have three people. It was Jack Welch. I thought it was Jack Welch. So Jack Welch said, was it 5% that he fires every year? He said, I fire the bottom 5% every year because I don't want to deal with these people, right? So I want to focus where? On tier 1 and tier 2. So if that's the case, if you know that's the case, here's where we can help salespeople. It was Jack Welch. I said I had quite a few of them. It was Jack. Okay, so let's say you're a manager right now for a small business and you got a couple of salespeople, inside, outside, whatever it may be, right? You need to give them instructions on how to treat different customers because we should treat people differently. So when customers call in, I don't know about you, but I'm going to start segmenting very quick. Who's tier 1? Who's tier 2? Who's tier 3? Sparrow's tail. All right. I've recently had a couple of long conversations with the customers and end up with no sale. One was a warm contact who I was sure I had. How do I qualify someone early on without being pushy or too bold? It's a good question, Sparrows. I think it's one of those things where you have to find what you're comfortable with. The thing is, I can give you a line, but if you're not comfortable delivering that line, you're not going to deliver it. But if you've sold enough or at least been in that business market segment long enough, you know that there's probably 2, maybe 3 things that you know that if these 2, 3 things aren't green light, they're not going to buy. So then your job is to find phrases, ways to ask those simple questions, right? And so there's no one way of doing it, so don't buy into the one way of doing it. Find out how you feel comfortable layering that into your conversation, right? Find a way to do it, but don't be scared. Don't be scared. Sometimes when people say, well, I don't want to be too pushy, I don't want to be too bold, what they're really telling me is that they're scared to challenge the customer and actually ask the questions. I like to qualify. I was watching this video. I'm not going to tell you who it was because I nearly lost it, Sparrow's tail, because the person said, and I quote, qualification is another form of judgment, and clients don't like to be judged. I don't even know where to go with that one. You know what I mean? You judge clients, that's natural. Clients will judge you, that's natural. But when you're qualifying, you're really searching for eligibility. It's not a judgment, it's are you eligible to buy my product? And so you got to find those questions to ask to see if they actually have the resources, the time, whatever it may be, to actually buy your product. So find your way of asking, man. I don't have one for you. Like I said, there's so many ways you can do it, but don't be afraid, man.